Hey everyone, this is Adam. I'm an artist. This is Egoom. He's a stick artist. Again, he's a master of those sticks. Let's go draw some stuff. Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm AC. This is AC Draw Stuff. So this is the second entry in my neon acrylic leather paint series, I guess. That's a really long name. But I've got these Angelus neon leather paints that are acrylic that I wanted to use for sort of an abstract / cartoon styled series of Mooj, Egoom, and Mother Fluffer. And if you check out my last video, I did Mother Fluffer, my three-legged cat, and I used some really awesome orange and pinks on her. And I'm limiting it myself to 2 colors per character. And that's weird to say character because they're actual living creatures. But so I used the yellow and orange on Egoom, orange and pink on Mother Fluffer. And on Egoom, I'm using a purple and yellow. And the reason I chose those was because purple and yellow can make a brown, if you know, a nice brown, which I did not mix them into, but the 2 together will do that. So, and Egoom is predominantly black and brown. So I felt like those were a good representation of him. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a loose sketch, a very loose sketch of him, of his head, and I'm using 5.5 by 8.5 paper, my sketchbook, my normal sketchbook that I prefer. And I would say if I was going to do this again, I'd bust out I think it's like a 9 by 11 or something sketchbook, a bigger sketchbook, because Egoom's got massive ears and that's his like trademark. And I want to be able to accentuate those in a cartoon style. I had to kind of squish him down on this, but along with that, I'm using the paints in like a very sloppy, intentionally abstract way that you'll see here in a minute. So it was all kind of condensed. So that's one thing. And you know, the whole point of this channel, the 2 points, one is art therapy and one is to share what I learn as I go. So because I want you guys to have the confidence to mess up and make mistakes and then learn some new stuff and share that with me. And so that's one thing that I learned doing this. I would love to do these again. And if I did them, and when I do them again, I'll use bigger paper so that I can kind of stretch my arms. So now I've got the sketch done, the loose sketch, and I'm erasing the darker parts of the sketch where I might have gone over a little too much, because I don't want the pencil to show through, or I want it to show through as little as possible when I apply the paints. Ready? So Egoom and I just spent, we just had celebrated our 3rd year anniversary together, Gotcha Day, and I got him a new toy, that little fire toy. And the sounds he was making with it were hilarious. So, like I was saying, I want to see the sketch through, at least through the paint, at least on my first try here. As I apply the paints, that was all the purple, and it was pretty simple and just random. Now I'm applying the yellow over that purple, and I can still see through. I want to be able to see through, like I said, on this first try. So once I, as a guide, so once I apply these paints, and I'm doing very little yellow, the majority of it is purple, but I wanted a little bit there just to differentiate, a little bit of contrast. Hello. You wake you up? Go wake your sister up. Now I took the paints and I dried them with a hair dryer. It took just like 30 seconds to a minute, so that I could continue the piece. Once they're dry, don't you could do it with them wet, and it would get you have a different effect. But I wanted to make sure they were dry when I sketched over them. I'm using my Copic Black 100. It's an awesome black. It's very, very black. And another thing that I learned doing this, and I'm kind of inking, if you will, basically the sketch that is underneath. But one other thing that I learned in doing this is I would use the chiseled end, or I'd like to use the chiseled end. You can use either end. These Copic markers have the brush tip and then the chisel end. And I think the chisel would give you more of, it would have given me more of that striking line rather than, the brush is going to bend and flow with your stroke. I think the chisel would have been more direct and intentional, and that's kind of what I was hoping for. So I loved how these turned out. I really do. And I love the idea and the experiment behind it. But I'd like to try them with a couple different, options. The bigger paper, and then the chiseled end of the marker. And I'm basically now just, like I said, inking, going over, and my pencils, which are kind of hard to see and make out. But what you don't want on this is for the pencils to show through. So I'm trying to go over them as much as possible. And there's a couple that I missed, and you can't really tell because they're under the paint. But yeah, I mean, there's, it's really awesome the way it turned out with the shape of his head kind of laying on the paint, the shape of the paint. Kind of, it's almost as if Egoom is on one side of like a cold window, and you've kind of wiped your hand, or something with like where it's like fogged up, and you've like wiped your hand. Hey, who's on the other side? And there's Egoom. It's kind of the effect that you get with this experimentation, or with the piece. And there's a lot of abstract stuff like this out there that kind of inspired me. And I wanted to kind of mix that with the bold colors and then the super stark contrast of the black inks. I think it came out really well. I like how it ended up. And then I'm just finishing up, tightening up the lines, making sure I'm happy with where they lay on the, in association with the paint, and that there's not too much of a scribbled look. But either way, it's like that case of like color within the lines. We're definitely not doing that, and that's the fun of it. So that's the finished piece. I really liked how it turned out. Of course, I forgot to sign it, so I'm going to do that in a second here. But if you guys want to support the channel, watch my other videos and share them, like, comment, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. I answer all the comments, and I really appreciate them. If there's anything I can ever help with or you want to share, let me know. And you can check out my Patreon and Big Cartel shop in the links below in this video. And you all take care, be safe, and draw some stuff. Sit, Muji, sit. Good dog.